Okay, let's bring in CBC's Richard Madden from Washington to return to the story of what's going on between Canada and the United States, because just yesterday we heard from Donald Trump again making reference to Canada becoming the 51st state. So, Richard, from your point of view, what is going on here? Remind us, what did the president have to say?
Well, it was a bit surprising. President Trump inserted himself into Canada's election when a reporter with the BBC asked the president how the outcome of Canada's election next week might influence his own tariff policy. Now, Trump avoided making predictions, but once again pushed his whole annexation theory, citing his false claims of a trade deficit, among other things. Take a listen to what President Trump had to say in the Oval Office.
As a state, it works great. As a nation, considering the fact that most of the nation, 95% of Canada, what they do is they buy from us and they sell to us. They sell to us. If we didn't buy their oil, and we don't need their oil. We have more oil than anyone, but we don't need their oil. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their cars. We don't need anything. So I said, why are we doing this? Why are we spending $200 billion? It doesn't make sense. If we needed something, that would be a different subject.
So once again, to reiterate, yes, the U.S. needs Canada's lumber. And his $200 billion subsidy claim is simply not accurate. Trump was referring to a trade deficit that conveniently removes oil exports into the U.S. But that said, Trump did say he's working on a deal with Canada to lower his tariffs, but then simultaneously threatened to raise the existing tariffs on certain cars and car parts made in Canada that fall outside the USMCA or free trade agreement. Take a listen to this.
We have a lot of everything that they sell us, but in particular cars. They took a large percentage of the car making, and I want to bring it back to this country. I really don't want cars from Canada. So when I put tariffs on Canada, they're paying 25%, but that could go up in terms of cars. When we put tariffs on, all we're doing is we're saying we don't want your cars, in all due respect.
Okay, so despite this, Trump has been notably quieter with his criticisms against Canada in recent weeks. And despite the fact he declined to predict the outcome of the election, the fact he's injecting himself into the final stretch of the campaign is quite notable.
Richard, let's talk about Donald Trump and these threats once again to the Canadian auto industry. There's some indication there that perhaps he's looking to lower tariffs on China. Walk us through all of that.
Right. Well, moments ago, we just discussed Trump threatening to raise tariffs on autos outside the USMCA that were manufactured in Canada. So those are vehicles and vehicle parts. But when it comes to China, we've also seen Trump being notably softening his tone in his tariff war with China, admitting that his punishing tariffs as high as 145% are a bit too steep. Trump now saying he may choose to lower them, sending a signal to the markets and investors that perhaps the president is looking to de-escalate his trade war between the world's two largest economies. Watch this.
I haven't brought it down. I haven't brought it still 145. I haven't brought it down. I said it's a high tariff. It is a high tariff, but I haven't brought it down. It basically means China's not doing any business with us, essentially, because it's a very high number. But we get along. I get along very well with President Xi, and I hope we can make a deal.
So here's the wrinkle here. While the administration says they're in direct contact with China, Beijing denies there have been any discussions between the two countries, but they say they are willing to engage. And if we look at how China's handling this, they appear to be digging in, slapping its own retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. up to 125%. And they're also restricting exports of critical minerals used in things from iPhones to electric car batteries. So while it's notable that Trump may have changed his tone, he hasn't changed his policy, at least not yet. And this comes as more leading economists warn of an economic slowdown and possible recession caused by Trump's tariff agenda.
Okay, Richard, thank you.
You bet.